Hi, everybody. Today we're going to do Mission 4, Lesson 1 Overview. Can you believe that we're already in Mission 4? I cannot. That means our year is about halfway through. For this first lesson, the terms that you are going to need to know are denominator and numerator. Let's remember that a denominator is the bottom number in a fractional unit, and it means what the whole is. So 3/5, 5 would be the denominator. The numerator is the top number of fractional units. It represents how many you have. So 3/5, 5 is the denominator, it represents the whole. 3 is the numerator, it represents the part. In this one lesson, you are going to be placing data on a line plot. So there's another vocabulary word for you, line plot. You're going to be using data that is measurement to the nearest quarter of an inch. So here's some data, and this data represents bean sprout height. So the first thing I'm going to do is come down here to my line plot and type bean, or write bean sprout height, because I'm going to label this to show the data, and we're going to do this in inches. The next thing I'm going to do is look at my data, and I'm going to find the smallest piece of data. Here it is, because it's got a 1. So that's going to be my smallest on my line. Then I'm going to find my largest piece of data. It's got to be a 3, so 3 1/2. And I'm going to fill in between. So 1 1/4. The next one would be 2/4 or 1/2. Then 1 3/4. Then 2, 2 1/4, 2 1/2, 2 3/4, 3, 3 1/4, and then 3 1/2. So I'm actually going to move this. Now every time I find one of those numbers, I'm going to put an X. So 2 1/2, here it is. I'm going to put an X. I'm also going to put a line through it to show that I'm finished with it. 1 1/4, 2, 3 1/2, 2 1/4, 2, 2 1/2, 2, 2 1/2, 2 1/4, 3 1/4. So I'm finished my line plot. It kind of looks like a bar graph, but with dots. All right, so now I can ask some questions and answer them using my line plot. Like, which bean sprout is the tallest? Well, the tallest is right here. So that would be 3 1/2 inches tall. Which is the shortest? Well, here's the smallest piece of data. So that would be the shortest, 1 1/4. Which measurement occurs most frequently? That's 2. It's here because I have 3 X's and here. So 2 and 2 1/2 inches occur most frequently. And then I can find the total height of all the bean sprouts by adding everything together. So I would say 1 1/4 plus 2 plus 2 plus 2 plus 2 1/4 plus 2 1/4, and I would continue on. So for line plots, I also need to know equivalent fractions because all of my fractions, most of them I should say, have a 4 as the denominator. So if I wanted to make this a 4, I would say 1 2/4. This would be 2 2/4, and this would be 3 2/4 because 2/4 is equivalent to 1/2. So what can you do at home to help practice? Well, when you're preparing food in the kitchen, take out a ruler. Cut vegetables to the nearest inch, nearest half inch, nearest quarter of an inch, and nearest eighth of an inch. And use your ruler to help you do that. Or when you cut, measure to those measurements as well. This is the end of our overview for Mission 4, Lesson 1. I hope you enjoy line plots as much as I do, and I'll see you next time.